That last speech sounds like we have met the enemy, and he is us. Because, Mr. Speaker, New Jersey owes a duty to the folks who serve the people to comply with the terms of their contracts. And I have no doubt that we will, because ultimately we will meet the obligations that we have made to our public employees. Over the course of the past 20 years or so, the question has been whether we will actually pay for the services that we want, or whether we will, in effect, borrow money from our kids to pay for the things that we want but aren't willing to pay for ourselves. Ultimately, we, the elected representatives of the people, have repeatedly failed in our obligation to perform our basic duties. Now, Mr. Speaker, while it should not be necessary to amend the Constitution to compel this body to act responsibly, it very much appears that absent a specific constitutional mandate which deprives this body of what one of my colleagues once called the courage to spend without paying for that spending, we will continue to simply ignore our responsibilities to the people who elect us to pay for the things that we desire. We owe it to the people who elect us, to our children, to ensure that when we make a contract, we pay for it. Indeed, if it were up to me, Mr. Speaker, I'd go even further. I would say that not only should we prepay our pension obligations, but we should pay for the health benefits we're promising people in advance. Because we know the costs are going to hit at some point, and when we ask for something, we ought to pay for it. That said, Mr. Speaker, budgeting is all about prioritizing, and I don't have to tell you that. We have to decide, based upon the cost of the things we want, how much government we can afford. We, the elected representatives of the people, need to do the same thing we demand of our municipalities and that we today demanded of our counties, to live within their means and not raise taxes when they want to spend more money. Given that our taxes are already confiscatory and need to be cut, not increased, we need to ensure that we not only provide the services while paying our bills, but that we do it without increasing taxes. The proposed amendment, Mr. Speaker, while setting into constitutional stone our obligation to ensure that we pay for the things we want, thereby helping to protect future taxpayers, creates a very real risk of massive economy-killing tax increases. Our obligation to the future requires not simply that we pay our bills, but that we bequeath to our posterity a strong, vibrant, growing economy. That will not happen if we can kowtow to the demands of narrow-minded, powerful special interests focused on their own benefit to the detriment of the public. Put simply, just as we demand that our municipalities balance their desire for some more spending with self-evident requirement for tax relief and tax restraint, so too we should use the same constitutional strictures to ensure that we balance the desires of special interests for massive spending with the needs of a vibrant economy, which can only be obtained through tax reduction and tax restraint. Just now, we have more government than we can afford. We need to pay our bills, but we must do so without raising taxes. Just as we should constitutionally ensure that we meet our obligations, so too we should constitutionally ensure that we meet it by prioritizing spending. For this reason, Mr. Speaker, I move that this resolution, joint resolution, concurrent resolution, be moved back to second reading for the purposes of amendment.